Hey everybody, welcome to my very first model railroad video for my layout. I think I'll be changing the overall name of the YouTube channel. But this is just so I can kind of keep track of my progress as a modeler and show you what I have here as a layout. This end of the track over here actually goes to a piece of staging, which is the whole point of the layout. The layout is a operational layout, and it was designed by a friend of mine, and six of us total built this layout over the course of a couple of years, and we'll bring it to train shows. And from there we decided that it was a lot of work to bring to shows, and the guys and I talked about selling the layout, and I purchased it. It was hard to, with all these memories and so many things we built for the layout, brought to shows. You'd actually stand in the center where I'm standing, but on the outside where the wall is, where the people from who come to the train shows would see and watch us operate this layout. And a lot of them really enjoyed it. We had a great time. It's just a lot of fun to do this, but I wanted to create this channel just so I can kind of keep track of progress on how I do as I get back into the hobby. It's been a long time since I modeled anything, to be honest. I'm pretty busy. I don't know how often I'll update this channel, but as I progress along, I'll kind of keep posting new updates and things along that line. But it's a 16 by 16 L shape right now. It was an actual, I'd say more of like a horseshoe. It almost came right back around, and then with the staging, we didn't really count the staging, but it's there because it's operations, and you have to have staging. It makes a lot of sense. But a friend of mine had two pieces of his layout from his 20 by 26 foot layout, and he would take that to shows, and then from there we expanded on that idea and built this, and would bring it to shows and operate. This the end of the track over here would from there wrap around beside me on my right side and go to a car float. So that will be a future expansion, as I have a new car float, which is pretty exciting. It's actually pretty big though. I don't know if I'll keep it that size or not, but we'll see. I'll give you a kind of a little tour of what everything is. That station was actually my grandfather's. I don't know if that's going to stay or not. We'll see. He built that. He had a massive layout. My dad had a layout, and I've inherited a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. We might do something with this. We'll see. It's just a general store. This is a freight shed. In the back over here is Sherwin-Williams, just like a paint shop. And then we get into some apartment buildings. Friends would bring their stuff from their layouts, so that's why there's a couple empty spots. We're going to have to work on filling those. In the very back there, the red two-part building, it actually joins by a little catwalk. That's a tractor factory. This one here, my buddy Kiefer built and was still in the progress of working on. It's a furniture factory. We have another empty spot. It was Scalise's. So that was, it used to be a fruit shop. So we'll see. We'll see what else we kind of fill in there. Little garage my buddy Ron built. In the back here is Canada Packers. So we'll have all kinds of cattle coming in and out of there. And we continue on. We get into a grain elevator, the station. Doodlebug there is on an actual interchange track, so you got to have that as well. Nice little tower. Got an oil depot in the back. That's the part I worked on. That was a pretty cool project. Those all the barrels are actually made of PVC pipe. So I thought that was pretty cool. A bunch of things we want to do and improve. That was my grandfather's dream house, so we'll see what we can do to incorporate that. We have a little coal tipple over here and stuff like that. So I've got a Campbell's kit. We're going to work on building a new coaling station. These are hard to find now, so I found this at one of the train shows. It's hard not to pick up. Very cool. So we'll get that in here. My buddy took his coaling tower and everything that was there. Freight shed that I'm working on. Been working on for a long time. That's why I said a lot of this stuff has been sitting around now for years. It was in my buddy's garage. So this here is an electrical shop. In the back was I don't know if we'll keep this. It was a bit of a maintenance shop and things like that. So we'll see if we kind of progress that. Once we add a second level, that's when things are going to change. And then we come around, we have a town in the back and a lumber yard. But we're going to add, these are just stand-in buildings that just, I've seen these buildings all over the place and they just don't really cut it for me. But we're going to work on this Craftworks building. This kit here, we'll get this in place, and I think that'll really dress up this area a lot. And then that's what I said, this end of track over here went off to staging, which is always important. All the track is, it's all hand laid, so that was a good learning experience for me. Never hand laid anything before, so I had a lot to learn, but I've had some pretty good teachers, so we'll see if any of those teachings kind of progress and I remember anything at all. We'll see. It's been a long time, so even the turnouts were hand laid, so it's gonna be cool to get it back up and running. I was looking at a couple new systems when it comes to the power source, what I want to do there. I've seen NCE and Digitrax for years. They've always been around, but it's never really been what I wanted. I looked at RailPro. That one looks really cool, but you're really forced on its own kind of standalone platform because you're out of DCC and you're on this infrared or kind of just almost like a battery powered sense. So we'll see what happens there. But when we come back into street running, I think the only part that isn't hand laid is the street tracks here. I think this is it's all code 83. I think this here is Shinohara track, flex track, all down, just because we weren't going to see it anyways. But I find the hand laid track just adds a more depth and realism than just the flex track. But that's just a preference. Flex track with a bunch of work I've seen can look incredible, so we'll see. A bunch of touch-ups I got to do, like when joints are now, because it's now a stationary layout, I don't have to worry about it. We can actually fill all this stuff in. I'm going to cut from here to back here and put a new piece of rail in, so that way we don't have to worry about that joint and offsetting and maybe tipping over some rolling stock and such. And then when we get back over to the end here, we are going to, and I'm kind of toying around with this idea of what to do. When we come off to this track at the end, right here, sorry, the big old finger, but right there we'll wrap over to the new harbor scene and a car float. I've always loved the car float. A friend of mine, so I said earlier, has that car float, and it's just a cool sense of operations, but it allows you to bring in any kind of traffic you want, and I think that's what the coolest part is. So when we get to the second deck, well, that's like, how do you get there? Well, you build a helix. Well, here's my thought. Because of the car float, everything comes in, goes to the car float, and then from there has another destination via the car float. Well, you grab the car float and lift it to the second level, right above where you are, and continue on the operations from there. That was just kind of an idea I actually had this morning. We'll see if that kind of happens. I've got a lot of work to do in the meantime. I'm not really focused on the track plan yet for the second level. I'd rather get the harbor up and running and kind of get this back in order is the main thing. But we'll see. I'm playing around with a couple ideas and things like that. But it's just mostly to have just progress shots and video of where I've started and where I can take hopefully this hobby and make it look as real as possible. We are going to add a backdrop. Nothing worse than looking at that. It just takes away from everything. You lose the effect. So we'll be adding in a backdrop and a whole lot of other details and things like that. It's going to be a ton of fun, but none of these videos are going to be too impressive, I would say. I'm not going to do any fancy editing or anything along that line. That's what I do as a day job. I'm just recording with my iPad just so I can watch my own progress, more or less. That's really kind of what it's here for. So if you're interested, then you're more than welcome to stick around and follow my progress. So hopefully this is a pretty good first introduction, I think. I think we'll probably change the layout or the YouTube channel name as well with the idea of the harbor. I think I'm going to call it Harbor Junction and go from there. But we'll see. But yeah, everybody, this is my layout. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.